Hi, thanks for joining me. This is Angie at Chicken Scratch, and this is the second video for the Raw Edges Square Quilt-Along. Okay, so I've opened up the layer cake, and I have positioned it on my wall exactly how I want it. And now the next step is I'm going to go get my charm squares, and I'm going to place them on here. So I'll be back in just a minute with all the charm squares in place. Okay, so I have placed all of my charm squares on my layer cake squares, and I think it looks pretty good. I didn't put a whole lot of thought into it. I think it's going to look good regardless of what position those squares are in. Okay, I'm going to zoom in for you to see the top row. Okay, so on the far left you see row 1. We're sewing these in vertical rows, so that's 1, 2, 3, and then 4, 5, 6. So it's 6 across and 7 down. So I'm going to pause the camera. Okay, so I've got all of my charm squares on top of my layer cake pieces, and now we want to do the same thing. We want to take our glue stick and we want to glue these down because we want to sew a 1/4 inch seam around these. So what I'm going to do is take my first one. Now normally I just take my glue stick, I put it on the back, and then I slap it on anywhere. If you want yours to be exactly in the square, because this is a square, and for some people it might be aggravating for it to be a little crooked. There is this awesome ruler. What is it called? 5 and Dime. I'll make sure on my Angie Judah site that I have the official name of it. It is by Kansas Troubles Quilters. Anyway, the link will be on my site. So this is made specifically for a layer cake. So what you're going to do is place it right there. And then this is going to show you exactly where to position your charm square. Okay, so I'm just going to turn this over and put some glue on the back. Now I had someone ask about the glue, that if over time would the glue wash out. Probably so, I think so, but we're going to be stitching a 1/4 inch seam around the edge, and then we're going to be quilting this, or my long arm quilter will be. So I think that it's going to be, I've made lots of these quilts, and so far none of my butterflies or flowers or any of those have come off. Now I'm going to use this ruler one more time, and then I'm going to put it away, because to be honest, I'm really okay if it's not straight. Okay, so I've gotten to a point where I'm going to pause the camera, and when I come back, we're going to sew our 1/4 inch seam around the edge of this charm square. Okay, so I'll be back. Okay, so I've got the first square of row 1, and all I'm going to do is sew a 1/4 inch seam down this charm square. So I'm just going to lift my foot up and place it here. Okay, and then I'm just going to start sewing. Make sure your needle is in the down position. When you get about a 1/4 of the way up, you're going to pivot. That's why you want to keep the needle down. Okay, again I'm going to turn. I'm going to take my pin out for a second because I do not want to sew over that. Okay, so now we get to where we started, and someone asked a really good question about back stitching. Do you back stitch or do you not back stitch? For these larger squares, you can definitely sew right back over where you started. In fact, let me remove this and I'll show you. Okay, I don't know if you can see. I just went right back over where I started. So sometimes you can just start about right here, and then that way you'll see exactly where to go. Okay, so I'm going to pin my number 1 back on here because I don't want to get confused. And I'm going to pick up the next square. I'm going to show you one more, and then I will end this video number 2. And our third video, we will start sewing our rows together. So the only thing left really is just to sew all of our squares on, and then we can start sewing our row. So this is one of those quilts that you can make really in a day. In fact, my last one I did. Okay, so I'll be back when we're ready to sew our rows together. If you have any questions, be sure to join our Chicken Scratch Quilt Along Facebook group. Have a great day. Thanks a lot. Bye.